Hi YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I just received the Dell Latitude 5300 and Dell Latitude 7300. And I figured it was worth doing a comparison video on these two laptops since they're both very similar, and the 7300 is supposed to be a higher grade laptop than the 5300. I got these laptops through Dell outlets, so they only include the charger. The 5300 and 7300 that I picked up have very similar specs. Both have a Core i7-8655 processor with 8 gigs of memory, and they both also have a 13-inch 1080p screen. The differences, however, are that the 5300 has a touchscreen, an IR camera, fingerprint, and smart card reader, and the Wi-Fi card in the 5300 is an Intel AC9560 card, while the 7300 has a Qualcomm QCA61X4A Wi-Fi card. However, we will find out later in this video that the laptops aren't that similar. The SSDs also have different capacities as well as manufacturers. The 5300 has a 256GB Samsung PM991 SSD, while the 7300 has a 128GB Kioxia BG4 SSD. The 5300's casing is plastic, while the 7300 is all aluminum, which feels like a more premium product and may help with heat dissipation. I purchased both laptops with the upgraded 60 watt-hour battery over the standard 48 watt-hour battery. Connectivity between the two laptops are pretty much the same, with the exception that the 5300 has a built-in Ethernet port. Otherwise, they both have a power connector, USB-C port, HDMI 1.4 port, a micro SD slot, headphone jack, and two USB 3 ports, which one has always on charging. The dimensions of the laptops are both very similar, however the 5300 is slightly thicker in the rear. Insert big butt joke here. Sadly, both laptops do not have any power, as you will see, so I had to plug them in to get a charge before being able to turn them on. I find it rather sad that Dell didn't even bother to charge these laptops before sending them my way. For anyone that wants to avoid watching the whole video to figure out which laptop to buy, here's some takeaways. The 5300 has a better webcam, speakers, and brighter screen. If you use a wired network connection often, the 5300 has one built in, saving you from needing to carry around a dongle. Downsides for the 5300 is the plastic interior, lower peak performance due to an inferior cooling solution, the touchpad buttons being a little more flimsy than the 7300, and only a 1-year warranty. The 7300 has an aluminum casing with an optional carbon fiber casing, arguably sleeker design, 3-year warranty, better performance and cooling, slightly slimmer towards the rear of the laptop, and slightly better touchpad buttons. Disadvantages are a seemingly dim display despite the specs saying it's the same 300 nit brightness, and the speakers and webcam aren't as nice as the 5300. After doing a little digging, the 7300 has a LG 133 WF7 panel, while the 5300 has an LG 133 WF6 panel, and they both have a brightness of 300 nits. However, the WF7 panel has a contrast ratio of 800 to 1 versus 700 to 1 on the WF6 panel. The WF7 panel has a 72% NTSC color coverage, which is equivalent of 100% sRGB, while the WF6 panel has 75% NTSC color coverage, which equates to about 102% sRGB coverage. As to why they look significantly different, maybe it's because of the 2 to 30% difference in color coverage, or it may be the fact that one has a touch panel and one doesn't. Which one do you think looks better? Comment below. Now that we have that out of the way, let's see what components can be replaced or upgraded by taking off the back cover of both laptops. As you can see, surprisingly there are 2 memory slots, which Dell says is upgradable to 32 gigs, but I've read online that it can be upgraded to 64 gigs. As with most other laptops, the SSD as well as the Wi-Fi card are replaceable. A WWAN card can be installed on both laptops, but since the 7300 didn't have a WWAN antenna, there's also no SIM card tray on the side of the laptop. Interestingly, however, there's still a SIM card, so my guess is all 7300s and potentially 5300s ship with the same motherboard, but the casing and screen lid vary depending on if you order the laptop with the WWAN antenna or cell module. What's also interesting regarding the thermal design of the laptops is even though the laptops are very similar in size and design, there is a rear vent only on the 5300 due to hinge design, and the heatsink and heat pipe is bigger in the 7300. You'll see later in the video how these differences affect laptop temperatures at full load. Now that the bottom covers are back onto the laptops, let's see how fast these laptops power up. It looks like the 5300 boots a little faster, but from the user benchmark scores, you'll see that the SSD in the 5300 benchmarks higher than the 7300. Because of this, I'm going to call it a draw. Since these laptops only have integrated graphics, I didn't really bother running benchmark utilities other than user benchmark. Even though the processors are the same, the 7300 performs better, and I'm willing to bet this may have to do with the 7300 having a bigger heatsink. GPU performance and memory performance is the same, unsurprisingly, since they both have the same GPU and memory. It's quite interesting to see how much of a difference things like an SSD or heatsink can affect a laptop's performance, isn't it? Speakers on the 5300 are considerably better than the 7300 if you can hear the difference in the video.
You're insane, but I wouldn't have it any other way. If we're knocked out, we'll go the distance, pound for pound, we're a perfect match, pulling punch.
I do some video editing on my laptop when I'm not at home and wanted to see how these laptops perform as well as how much these laptops throttle when encoding video. I did a simple test by pulling a video from my camera and simply re-encoding it using the YouTube video profile in DaVinci Resolve. CPU temperatures did vary between the 5300 and the 7300, and as I've already mentioned, this is more than likely due to the differences in heatsink sizes. The average time to re-encode an 8-minute 9-second video file on the 5300 over 3 runs was 13 minutes and 9 seconds at 78 degrees Celsius. And 11 minutes and 4 seconds for the 7300 at 74 degrees Celsius. The 5300 encoded video at around 1900 MHz and the 7300 encoded video at around 2400 MHz. From these results, having a bigger heat pipe and heatsink definitely helped reduce temperatures and encoding times and also delayed the fan running at full speed. Copying a 4GB video file using the built-in microSD card reader yielded 81 megabytes per second on the 5300 versus 85 megabytes per second on the 7300, so I would call this a draw as well. To me, the webcam on the 5300 is better than the 7300 even though they're the same resolution. So which laptop would you pick? The laptop with the brighter screen, speakers, and Ethernet jack with a 1-year warranty? Or the better built laptop that's a little faster and has a 3-year warranty? Comment below. I have a new Lenovo X13 with an AMD Ryzen Pro 4750 on the way, so keep an eye out for an unboxing and first impression video in the next few days. I hope you've enjoyed this video and it helped you decide which laptop is a better fit for you. If you have anything else you would like me to test or have any questions, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.